So, again, it's like trying to come up with the ideas. It's like, yeah, you want people to feel things a certain way about your artwork. Um, but when I say, what will you draw? This comes, you basically, when you're trying to figure out what to draw, you have to be a good story writer. And that's the other thing is like, I didn't just study drawing. Like I've been looking a lot at how to write a decent story because the pictures I don't want to just draw scattered images. I want to draw like I've always wanted to do comics as a medium. I've always wanted to have something which was a larger project where people can get immersed into the thing, right? It's like it's the difference between creating just one dish versus creating a whole, 7-course meal where each piece of the meal prepares you for the next piece and the next piece and then finally something to finish it off. It's a big difference because you're always trying to get things to tie together. But a lot of people, they get into drawing because they want to be superstars. They see someone else drawing and they're like, yeah, I want to draw too. I want to move the pencil around and come up with amazing images, and I think for a lot of my initial drawing, I wouldn't say career, but my drawing journey has been look at my drawings. Look at my drawings. Look how good an artist I am. It's not, it should be look at my ideas. I've got great ideas and, you try to make your own artwork a little more invisible, but it's look at my ideas and what ideas do you have. So it's tough because it's always like we're so focused on just trying to be able to draw better all the time that something has to pull us out of that, and we have to look beyond what is in front of us on the canvas. Anyway, it's kind of funny that as I'm posting these, I'm actually getting people commenting back. So it's almost it's I won't call it live. It's like semi-live. So one fellow has written in and felt that it was kind of upsetting, because he feels. I'll just read it straight out. It says, "This is upsetting. So you're saying that the majority of people can't go from zero to hero even if they work at it. Even it requires schools, tutorials, or people to teach or show them. So they shouldn't even bother to look for the education factor to make them better, or at least grasp the foundation." This sounds, yeah. And I can tell this person's kind of upset, and it is upsetting. I can sense that, but not everyone can. Not everyone can. I think being an artist is not just what you do. It has a lot to do with personality. I think an artist is not just a thing. It's not just a thing that you do. It's not just a choice. It's a personality. The successful artist is I believe it's a personality. You don't have people who are. If you're not able to concentrate, you can't like that. An artist is not someone who can't concentrate. Like a successful artist is not someone who simply does as they please. It's not a person who is without discipline. I'd say the person that I was 6 years ago would never have made it, and he doesn't exist anymore. Like it's just you change. You have to change. I was not always disciplined. So your personality. If you want, as you get better as an artist, it's not just a matter of getting better skill-wise. It's getting better personality-wise, and taking on really hard tasks to build your patience. It's hard to find things that faze me anymore. It's just and oftentimes I actually go out and seek to draw ridiculous things like engine blocks and tinfoil just because of the challenge that they present. I was not like that 6 years ago. It's unthinkable. You have to change. And unless you change, unless you're willing to become a different person, you will never be a successful artist, because you won't enjoy the things that make good art. You won't enjoy the struggle. You won't enjoy a job well done. Not everyone does. Everyone at the beginning wants the easy way out, and some people never change. And so that's why I say that some people, no matter how much help you throw at them, There are a lot of people that I have, tried to help, but they never took it to heart. They never were, it's like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's like that. And some people, they can never really, they're just not desperate. That's the other thing, is like, everyone feels, I know how it is in the beginning. It's like, you don't want to go through all this trouble to become good. And I think I was at a very good advantage when I started to draw, because I was already good at something else. I was already good at visual effects. I was already good at programming. So, I mean, there was something else that I was good at, and I knew what it meant to be good at something. I already had the patience, and that's why I was able to teach myself. But not everyone is patient. Look around you. There's so many impatient people, so many people who are ruled by their emotions. They're easily stirred, they're easily manipulated by their emotions. Kind of funny how in the media we're always warned against the dangers of desensitization. That it's important to have an emotional response to every horrible thing that ever comes out. We have a nation. I don't live in America. I live in Canada, but I do know that there are times where the whole country is thrown into an uproar over a nipple exposed during the Super Bowl. It's an emotional response. Sometimes I wonder if people are basically told to stay emotional so that they're easier to control, so that they can be swayed by emotional talk. Because the thing is that when you're emotional, you can't be logical. And when a person is logical and rational and thinking and not letting their emotions get in the way, that they become harder to persuade. But it's just, I'm not saying that emotions are a bad thing. I think that they are very important. I think that when you're drawing, it's good to have emotion. It's good to want to stir emotion. But at the same time, you can't let yourself be ruled by emotion all the time. It's like same thing with a chef, right? When you're a chef, you have to want things. You have to want a certain taste. You have to be able to feel things, and be able to stir an emotion through your cooking. But at the same time, if something takes a long time to cook, if something requires a certain amount of effort to prepare, then you can't say, well, I'm too tired. You just have to do it. And some people they are ruled by their emotions, and they do things because they don't want to. They just do things a certain way because they don't want to. So, I just see a lot of people who, I've heard people who say, I just don't have it in me. Some people say they can't draw. They don't want to. They just don't have the interest. I respect that. I respect that people don't always want to get better, and I leave them alone. I don't pursue them. It's not my duty. It's not my right to go in and tell them how to live their lives. And I also see people who just kind of give up on, the fundamentals, and they dawdle away in their comfort zone, or they do the very bare minimum. I used to be like that. I can understand where they're coming from, but it's not the easy road, and that's why so few people can't go from zero to hero. That's why I didn't start from zero. I at least had something that I was good at. I was very driven towards programming and making video games and making music, and I really spent the time on these things. And if you are distracted by other things, and you're not able to focus, as very few people are, you'll never get it. It's like trying to teach me how to do calculus. I just don't have the mind for it. Some people can do entire math problems in their head. I can't. I have to write everything out. It doesn't matter how much I work at it. It's just I don't have the faculties for it. Like to be a human, like to be able to make tools and use tools to make tools. That's not something that everyone can do. I mean, I get a lot of people who I try to teach them software but I have to teach them what every single button does. And like when they want to know something, they only know that button, but they don't understand why the buttons are arranged that way. They become what my mother calls a buttonologist, but they don't understand the logic to why the buttons are arranged that way. They don't understand the underlying reasons for things. So, you know, a lot of people just kind of want to be handed techniques, but they don't understand, you know, they don't kind of see beyond it, and they don't realize, you know, they don't learn how to make their own techniques, or even how to see the problem in front of them and to try and find something logical through it. And that is something that is rare. And, you know, that's why we can't all be, you know, the hero. We can't all be, you know, we're not all dedicated to be, you know, we can't all be astronauts or firemen, because it's in here, and we don't have it all in here, you know, in our hearts.